So now moving up the park a little bit, we're going to go to New Orleans Square and Critter Country. Now, this is going to be very, very interesting because with
there's
the
no turning back now.
Because that okay.
There you go. Exactly. No turning back now, as Paul Frees says. That with the Princess and the Frog, kind of moving into this, Splash Mountain, that re-theme, it changes the equation quite a bit for both New Orleans Square and Critter Country. Rudio, what do you think this means, the Splash Mountain re-theme means for the future of both of these lands?
With Princess and the Frog being installed into that Splash Mountain attraction, it's putting everyone on notice as far as anything else there. Obviously, Haunted Mansion, there's no way they're changing that. They just put money into it. There's no way that attraction goes anywhere. It's everything surrounding it. So the one thing that what's been shown from a few vloggers is Le Baton Rouge. Le Baton Rouge is the store that's pretty adjacent right next to Blue Bayou. That has been rumored to be a new beignet spot. So what would be from the Princess and the Frog movies, Tiana's Palace? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
There's speculation that would be a location for that. Mind you, we already have a beignet spot literally right around the corner where you have your mint juleps in the French Square and whatnot. So it'd be pretty interesting if they keep both locations, because the beignet location that they have right now does get pretty crowded, and it is a pretty tight spot because you have the exit of the train or the guests who are coming off the train hitting that one area, and also the bathrooms. And that spot right there, if you are claustrophobic,
it's bad. It's like the Trinity of Hell or something like that. It's like it's because those restrooms are like the only ones for a long time, till Hungry Bear and until anywhere in Adventureland or Frontierland. So those are some of the most used restrooms in the park.
Oh yeah,
very interesting. They haven't been redone.
Oh yeah.
They smell and look like it, but
yes.
But no, I mean, with the beignets there, and then they tried to go mobile order. That didn't really work out because people kind of congregate where mobile order is placed, and you just need a place for them to do that, and that's just not compatible with that. From what I've heard of the Baton Rouge location, if the dresses and everything, like some of that stuff's still there. They haven't really done anything with it. So I wonder what they are going to do with it. I mean, because I think it's like you said. I mean, with Tiana's known for her beignets in the movie. It'd be such a perfect fit, whether or not there
absolutely.
Be kitchen facilities that can facilitate that. But I gotta think that there is, right? I mean, it would just be so perfect.
Well, you have that area, and then what do you do with Hungry Bear? Do you convert that to a Tiana's Palace and have that area dressed up to be something like that? Because obviously that area has tons of seating, and so to incorporate Princess and the Frogs literally right across the way from the outdoor queue, that would be perfect spotting. Obviously we have Winnie the Pooh. Do you guys think Winnie the Pooh stays any longer?
I have to say, I mean, I personally, if they're gonna do Princess and the Frog where Splash Mountain is, for theme reasons, and consistency reasons, I want to see Pooh gone, because I want it to all kind of be a cohesive area. So just turn the whole thing into New Orleans Square. So I would essentially say get rid of Critter Country. I know maybe that might be unpopular, but I mean, you kind of can't do anything else but do that. How are you going to walk down that pathway, and half the pathway is Critter Country and half the pathway is New Orleans? It's just kind of weird. I would rather see the Pooh ride turned into like a kid-friendly dark ride to Princess and the Frog. Maybe have it themed to the alligator or something. But have it match Splash Mountain or the Princess and the Frog version of that ride.
Well-
And Hungry Bear would kind of fall into that as well. You'd have to make that a New Orleans Square kind of on the bayou kind of restaurant, which would actually be gorgeous
with Southern food and whatnot. It's perfect right there.
Perfect. Yeah. Just if they give the proper budget, they can convert Critter Country into a nice little New Orleans Square, little nook back there. You know, it'd be kind of nice back there. What do you think, Dre? Or what are you feeling on that?
Well, the rumors indicate that the gator, which I cannot remember his name for the life. Oh, Louis.
Louis,
right? Is Lewis or whatever? Okay,
Lewis.
Yeah,
Lewis. That he's going to be the star of the Splash Mountain overlay, and you might be trying to get his trumpet the whole way through, and that's what takes you through that kind of story. So that's the kind of the rumor with the Splash Mountain overhaul. So I mean, look, I would prefer it if they did retheme Pooh to a Princess and the Frog, or just something that Cole, that kind of goes with it a little bit more than it would now. I'd like to see, I mean, if you're going to do it, you have to do something about the pine trees, I suppose. But I mean, I would like that area to be an extension of like New Orleans Square, but of like the bayous of Louisiana. They're so distinctive. I think it would be a kind of a natural extension. We already see a little bit of that in the kind of forward section of Pirates of the Caribbean, obviously the Boo Bayou and stuff like that. I would like to see kind of that brought to that. I don't quite know how you accomplish that, and then what happens to David Crockett's Explorer canoes, I don't know. I'm not sure, but there are definitely questions. I think it can work. I think you can do it. Does New Orleans Square get a third e-ticket right there as part of that? I think it does. We'll see.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe they can kind of put the Davy Crockett canoes more on the Tom Sawyer Island side. Maybe you enter from that, so it's more encompassing of that theme. Maybe, I don't know if that would work. I don't know.
Maybe.
Off the top of my head, do you, besides Princess and the Frog and Pirates of the Caribbean in some capacity, what are other Disney IPs that can correlate to a New Orleans base? I'm trying to think, like, besides those properties.
Ooh,
because if they weren't making another Princess and the Frog, what could you bring to that Pooh area? A show?
Wow, you could do a show. Yeah, you could do a show.
The Princess and the Frog show on the Mark Twain was extremely popular. Some people even say more popular than the actual film. And, when they were doing marketing for that movie, I think it was really, really popular. So maybe. Now this is kind of interesting too, because it's like, well, Disneyland Forever, or Disneyland Forward, I should say. Yeah, Forward. I will never get that right the first time. Disneyland Forward would say, well, maybe it's all kind of moot because you extend past that point and go out to wherever the new lanes are going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
And so how does that all kind of work into this equation?
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm very, very curious how they're going to handle this. Now, we are lucky and fortunate at Disneyland that our Splash Mountain kind of butts up against New Orleans Square.
Yeah.
So it's something that I feel that it's an easier transition, than it would be in Florida, which is more like, I think, in the heart of like Frontierland. So we have a lesser hill to climb here, I think, in regards to changing stuff. I think as long as Disney puts the money into properly doing it, and really, like, I just don't want another Pixar pier where,
I know,
like the Ferris wheel is a perfect example of like the front of it is Mickey, the back of it is Pixar. Yes. I don't want to have that same problem with you're walking down that pathway and half of it, this little sliver right here, is Critter Country, and this right here, just go all in and just do it all the way,
Yeah. And it's There's so much foliage, so much tree growth. There's Harbor Galley and stuff. It's all been kind of themed to be an extension of bear country, and then like slowly changed over time. So it's all like extremely cohesive right now, man. And it's like, if you want to, kind of bring that forward, you're gonna have to do some stuff. It's gonna be interesting. How much work does the actual mountain get? Do we change out architectural features? Because it's all concrete. That's jackhammers. Yeah. Does it get a paint job? And how does the foliage surround it coalesce with that story? It's going to be fascinating.
How do you guys think they're going to block the construction of that?
Oh, I think they'll try their best with like scrims and things like that. But a structure that big, you're going to see it. I mean, there's just no going around it. It's like when they were building the Tower of Terror over at DCA. There's only so much you can do.
If you look at the history of Splash Mountain, both at Walt Disney World and Disneyland, these were huge additions that you just couldn't hide. I mean, they were hugely impactful for both their respective parks. In Walt Disney World's case, unlike what they're doing now with Tron, where the Disneyland Railroad has been. The Walt Disney World Railroad, the Magic Kingdom Railroad. I think it's Is it the Walt Disney World Railroad? That's what it's called.
That's what it's called.
That's correct. Yeah. It was kind of in shuttle mode where it would go back and forth through the loop because they to allow for the construction of Splash Mountain to actually take place. I was kind of hoping they would do that with Tron at some point, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So you also have to think about the railroad and how that is impacted by it and so forth. I mean, it's going to be big. It's going to be a lot. It will significantly transform that area.
Yeah. And I think they're going to get the proper budget for it, because I think that it's more than just a retheme to a lot of people. Yeah. It's a cultural thing, and I think that if they go into this and they do like a half measure, and it's obvious that they cut corners, it's not going to go well for them from a PR standpoint. I mean, they have to go all out and really impress,
Oh, yeah.
On a PR standpoint, I'll ask you guys this as well. A lot of these attractions, when they're going through their last month, they have a farewell tour. We saw it with Tower of Terror. We've seen it before. Because of the magnitude of Princess and the Frog and the cultural issues and whatnot, do you think Disney will announce the final day of Splash Mountain?
Ooh.
They'll announce it, but they won't have any. It won't be a glorious send off kind of thing. They won't make that into a thing like we've seen with other attractions over the years. It's just going to be that's it. Because it's just culturally, it's we went over Bob Chapek's own personal thoughts on it and stuff. That's the way it's going to be.
It's a touchy subject, and I think I agree with Dre. I think they'll announce the closing date, and but you're not going to see a whole lot of like merch,
like farewell Splash Mountain, whatnot. I don't think that's.
They'd be making it now. I mean, they've stopped all that product line stuff. I mean, it sold out extremely quickly. It's just that's it. Which is a shame, because that attraction means a lot to people. There's an emotional connection there for a lot of people, and because of this time period that we're in, it's all kind of very confusing.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think, before we move on to the next couple lands? What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Rudio, in regards to the naming of the new rethemed attraction, because we've had 30. What's it been, 30 years now? I think for Splash Mountain at Disneyland.
About that, it was 89,
I believe.
Yeah, 89. So 32 years going on.
32 years. So, people are pretty conditioned into just, hey, that's Splash Mountain. Do you think it's gonna keep that name, retain the Splash Mountain name, and maybe have like a it'll be Splash Mountain, Princess Tiana Adventure or something? I'm just kind of coming up with something off the top of my head, but you think it'll be something like that, or do you think it'll get a completely new name? It'll be something totally different.
I think it's going to be tagline. It's going to be something adventure, something river adventure, a Princess and the Frog adventure.
Okay.
That's what I think it will be called. I'm not clever enough to think of the name of what it would be, but the tagline will be a Princess and the Frog adventure.
But you think they'll get rid of Splash Mountain though? The name Splash Mountain.
No. I think the name Splash Mountain will be gone.
It'll be gone. And what do you think, Dre? You think they're gonna completely get rid of Splash Mountain? Or will they keep Splash Mountain and just add a tag to it?
I'm half in and half out. I think it makes a lot of sense to have like a tag to it, Splash Mountain : something,
right?
As they do. As far as the implications that come along with it, I mean, look, Splash Mountain just the name. I mean, that's themed to Splash the movie. That was the concession that was made. Like,
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it really has no connection whatsoever. I mean,
for the movie, right?
With Song of the South, right? So it's other than the associations that we've placed on it over the years, but I think there is a world in which you can get away with that.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have any implications. But J-Pack and even Josh DeMarlo to a certain extent, I mean, he's talked about they both talked about the legacy issue, right? It's like, oh, we're this a new Disney company, this a new, we're out with the old, in with the new kind of thing. And it wouldn't surprise me, at all that they would do something like that. I mean, it's interesting. Like, okay, Jungle Cruise obviously has implications attached to that, but we're still keeping the name Jungle Cruise.
Right.
I think, have we gotten to a point where we can kind of keep Splash Mountain, the moniker at least, and have it attached to something else? I think we can, but
yeah,
no, we'll see.
Yeah, it's not like it's called, a Song of the South adventure. I mean, it's a very generic name, Splash Mountain.
It was going to be called Zippity Doo Dah Falls or whatever, or Zippity Doo Dah, Splash or whatever, which would have been much more closely attached to it.
Right. I mean, Splash Mountain could just as easily be a Little Mermaid ride. I mean, if you didn't know anything about it, it would, it could be anything. So we'll see what happens. I'm very curious to see the direction on that.